Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Statements of Steve and Happy Guy Fawkes Day. Remember the 5th of November. Typically, this is a holiday celebrated in Great Britain / the UK, but due to the ongoing circumstances here in the United States, I believe that it is highly relevant. It's another one of those matters where if we do not learn from history, both the mistakes and our successes, we are doomed to repeat it. And hoo boy, in certain cases, we are bordering on or are already repeating some grievous mistakes in history. With that being said, one classic graphic novel out there encapsulates a lot of these ideas and brings further relevance to what I'm saying. That being Alan Moore and David Lloyd's For Vendetta, which was also adapted into a film in 2005 starring Hugo Weaving as V and featuring Natalie Portman as Evie. One of her most stellar roles, in my opinion, post Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3 having been produced. Again, this was 2005, the same year that Revenge of the Sith released. I feel like she had a lot more agency in that film, but we're not talking about Star Wars, we're talking about For Vendetta. In this film, this character, V, a man of shadow and mystery, works to overthrow a tyrannical government headed up by a masterful tyrant who appears to be charismatic, appears to create the reality for the citizens who are downtrodden and oppressed to believe. Sounds familiar, right? That's why it's relevant. And I believe that works such as this, on Tyranny, 1984, are things that we must recognize as things to be treasured and valued, especially in times such as this, so we don't continue down the wrong path. Because at the end of the day, countries such as the United States were founded on the principle that we will not be downtrodden and we will not allow tyrants to dictate our everyday lives. If at the end of the day we just want to live our lives, flourish in love, then there is nothing wrong with that. And we will not be oppressed based upon any specific single aspect, be it sex, gender, religion, financial status, etc. We will not be oppressed. It will not be tolerated. So with that in mind, I'd like to move on and briefly share a few quotes that really speak to these times and have spoken to me ever since my first experience with For Vendetta, just shortly prior to the film. One quote that sticks out above many others is, "People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people." And just like in 1776, when the United States declared independence from oppression, if the government does not cooperate, if there are violations of our documented overarching law, then people do have a legal and given right to stand up against tyranny. That's just the way it is. Now, focusing on the media, which happens to, in this film as well as in real life, spread misinformation, those who are bold enough may quote, as one particular character did in this work, "Our job is to report the news, not fabricate it. That is the government's job." We see a lot of that going on as well, and unfortunately, at some point, karma is going to hit. It will come to an end. Another is, symbols are given power by people. So, all of you out there who have symbols that lead people to believe that they are going to be respected for who they are, then those symbols should feel empowered. The flag that we have saluted for centuries at this point is only given power through the people that give it that power. The same rings true for the government. And one last one, the target isn't an enemy of the country, but the country itself. While we find ourselves in circumstances where the country certainly is targeting itself, as a country is made by its people, and unfortunately, the country is currently targeting several rights of its people. It must come to an end, because I can tell you right now, that is one who tends to be very soft-spoken and very diplomatic. I am, at many points, finding myself angry. I am not a person to invoke conflict. I work to resolve conflict. However, sometimes the only way to resolve conflict is to escalate and resolve conflict through varied forms of force. With that being said, one of the ways we can do this is by drawing further attention to what is going on. We can take hope into ourselves by representing works that showcase where tyranny has not been tolerated. We can point at moments throughout the world history and the history of our country to prevent continued tyranny. So that's all I'll have to say. I wanted to share that with you on this Guy Fawkes Day. If you disagree, please feel free to do so. We have freedom of speech. Just remember that freedom of speech is not the same as freedom of expression or speech without consequences. You may speak your mind, but there may be consequences to it. That is just part of being a human being, of being accountable. And I highly recommend checking out V for Vendetta, either in its original written graphic novel form or celebrate the 20th anniversary of the stellar film. If you choose to read it, it is available as an original graphic novel form, as a hardcover deluxe edition with oversized artwork, in a new DC Comics compact edition for $9.99, or you can get a prestige format book from DC Comics called an Absolute Edition, which is gorgeous, comes in a slipcover with a book ribbon. This is not a sponsored video, but I want more people to take note of this work and other works so they can feel self-assured that we are stronger together and we must fight for democracy and freedom of life and freedom to live and fight against tyranny. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this content. It's why I've created the Statements of Steve channel, so I can express myself without causing any confusion surrounding my other channel, DBZ All-Star, or number 1 Animaniac, or Animaniac 1. At the end of the day, please stay healthy, stay safe, please cogitate on what has just been spoken to you. This is Statements of Steve, and be well.